Good morning, everybody. I am Omni Rusted. Welcome to Meeple Station. This is a game that just came out on Steam and was purchased for me by one of my subscribers, Javert. Wonderful, wonderful person. I'll play with the volume here a little bit because the music gets ridiculously loud and then it's ridiculously quiet. And as you can see from the upper right-hand corner, up right that way, the game is very much an alpha now. From what was told me by the changelog, by some interviews and everything like that, they have about 20% of what they really want in the game. Why am I so dark? Hey Google, set the light to 100%. That's not any better. Anyway, they have about 20% of the content that they want in the game, but they have a functioning game to at least go pre-alpha. And what they do have so far is actually pretty entertaining. So I thought, because the tutorial isn't quite there yet, there's no... Well, there are mods. Oh, wow. I didn't actually expect there to be mods. Wow. Anyway. Only 22 of them, but that means there's mod support. There's going to be a lot more content, but as for what there is now, they just added a huge update where you're able to move where your station is, which is very important because you eventually run out of materials. But I can really talk about this and show y'all in-game, I suppose. Classic, there is no campaign mode. I did challenging, and it was ridiculously easy, but there's no real... Like, pirates are something you eventually come across. You can basically go to the places with pirates when you're ready. They don't come after you. So let's just go with challenging, because I think that also applies to balancing your Meeple's moods. I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna do a short tutorial here, because the game is honestly, like, it's... There is those little messages you saw up in the corner, but you kind of, a lot of it is guesswork and checking the wiki, which you can find, well, up in this corner once you start the game. But when you're building your first area, there's not much. There's not much. So we need to start first with where our trade ships are going to come in. I like them to come in the back here. See, there's the helpful wiki. Told you. You can always check the in-game wiki to learn more about how the game works. Click the help icon at top right, which is not there as the time of this message. Or press the question mark, which, if you press that, does nothing right now. Anyway. The controls are pretty easy for this. Q and E will bring you up. You can see my little Z thing here. Brings me up and down level. There are multiple levels to this. And these are your view buttons, though they really, really need tooltips to explain what they do, or else you just experiment a lot. Anyway, I like to start back here with a little area where I put some airlocks. You don't necessarily have to do it like this, but you need one airlock for trading, and then one airlock where your miners will leave, and this is just, I like being symmetrical like this. Now you have a starting amount of money that you can use to design your place, so you got to make sure you're careful with that. Bulkheads, like this one here, separate your compartments, and whenever a bulkhead opens, the atmosphere between the areas is equalized. So you need to keep that in mind and keep wherever your airlock is very, very small. Wherever your airlocks are will be constantly emptied, but also constantly pressurized, so you want to make sure that whatever oxygen goes into that area is not very much. Go out this way. I go to modules. No. There we are. Furniture. I don't know why it's in that, not modules, but that does make sense. Get a suit rack right next to my airlocks for future use. And... yeah, I think I'll just keep going this way. Like, I'm looking at, like, if I want another bulkhead between here and here so there's not much oxygen loss. You got to really balance how much money you're using at first. So I'll do that. Let's have a ladder segment here. Now, one of the things when you're building initially. That does not apply later on. Also, there's no music right now. I don't know why there's no music right now. The music just randomly goes on and off. Is like right now, so I put a whole segment down. You can't just update that with a ladder. It's a ladder segment which is separate. If you are building initially, you put one down, click on it again, it gets rid of it. Same with the ladder segment. If I put a whole segment here, it gets rid of the ladder, etc. It gets a little bit confusing. It gets in fact ridiculously confusing, but you know, we'll deal with it for now. Now you can't build a huge area with the starting money that they give you. So what you want to do is make sure that you're able to start out and basically get all your stuff started. So I like, let's see. Let's have bottom floor be my basic. What's up, Piper? Basic refining area. Go by 5 by 5. See, that happens a lot. Can't really drag on this. We'll have this be a basic refining area. Let's get a table. All this will be moved later. Luckily, when you salvage in this game, it refunds the entire cost as if you're just picking the thing up, which is very, very important. Thinking right now of how I want to handle things. Actually, like that. We'll hit the salvage button here and we'll get rid of these. It does refund the entire cost. Trying to think of like how exactly I want to design this. We'll start out with some modules here. One refinery, which it says it takes up 1 slot. It takes up 2 slots. Don't let it fool you there. Meeple Station is about. Actually, I just realized what I wanted to do. You build a space station and you gather resources, and that's kind of the game. It's really not clear where the solar panels go. You got to kind of guess by what it says they're attached to on that green bit there. We'll get some solar panels here. There's also no rotate feature, which would be really super useful. It says that's red. I don't know why it says that's red. Why? Now it's green. See, like, it's not very clear. It's not very clear. We'll get some solar panels here. You can build above solar panels a bit. But you cannot build near airlocks. It's also really confusing. But I just realized I wanted to get some power cells first. I'll make this entire bottom floor kind of refinery, maintenance, and I'll expand it as there. We'll get life support attached there. Now, as you can see, that says that is not connected, even though you can see the black wires connecting these two things here. It's because we're not connected to the solar panels, and I needed to get cables, which you want to mostly keep cables out of the way. And apparently that got rid of that. It's also like some things, like you just saw there with the suit rack. That still says it's powered because the suit rack, apparently, any furniture that is basically put in the way or doors and whatnot, they still transfer power as if they were a cable of their own. It's really it makes sense in a weird way. Anyway, I wanted to get a refinery, so let's put that here. We need to put that next to a large container. I've never filled up a large container, just to let you know. We'll get cable stretching between those. Actually, is there any small thing that I can put there? Probably not. Actually, if I don't know. Let's instead. One of the things you want to try to avoid is having a bunch of cables around that make the place look uglier. Clumsy meeples will trip over them. It gets really confusing. Like, I could put a potted plant here. It does not count as power because it doesn't use power. Neither do doors. I literally just guessed if that would work and it didn't. I'm gonna need beds. Rotate these. Get 5 beds to start with. You start with 4 meeples. This will make it so that I will get more people coming in. It's asking for private quarters, of course, but I That can wait. That can wait. I've got 1,200 left right now. I need this to be powered. Get one cable there. Actually, I do want to check if a large container will transfer. Large containers do not transfer power. See, it's like it's just a guessing game. I could put life support there, which should do it. It just means that I'm using more money, but I'd want life support there eventually. I might as well just do it now. Because life support is a lot harder to get than cables, so I'll just put that there for now. Every time this empties, it empties a little bit of O2. Every time this equalizes, it equalizes a little bit of O2. I actually just realized I probably wanted a bulkhead between the ladder and this room. Which is actually worth destroying all of this. Come on. Because the shadow, it's really hard to tell where everything is. Alright, bulkhead here. And we'll restart this whole entire thing. Stretch it out. One more here. Power cell here. Cable here. If I get a clumsy meeple, that means he will destroy that cable every single time he walks over it. I think an alternate way to do that would be to basically get rigging between here and here, or to stretch out the solar panels, such as like here and here. Means that that power cell should be getting power now. Let's actually check that. Yeah, that power cell is getting power now. It just, solar panels can get expensive. And it wouldn't be connected to the ones on the other side. Actually, it would, because there's a bulkhead there, and that bulkheads count as cables. It's so confusing. But I need a little bit of money back. I'm going to take these solar panels. It keeps doing that because the shadow is very confusing. There we go. If there was a way to, like, I mean, it's a sprite-based game, so if there was a way to, like, rotate around to see where things are, or maybe flatten the walls would be a really, really nice option. Anyway. Now, you don't need to necessarily build everything like I am building. Also, all of my stuff is going to be moved around later. This is the starting bay. Let's go up one cell. I do not have much room left for structures. I can apparently build over the solar panel, which is surprising. Nope, that needs to be a ladder segment. And I'm trying to picture how I want the rest of this, because I'm thinking like second floor should be like rooms, I guess. And there should be a common area. I'm trying to decide how I want to do the common area. Whether I want the ladder to be in the middle of a hallway. I really should put it in the middle of a common area, I'm thinking. Because I still need a fish tank. Which is 200. 10 forward? Basically, yeah. Like, and I'm trying to think of like how I can afford the fish tank while still making it a pretty good size, you know? I'm not going to afford tables yet, but again, all of this is going to be moved around. So let's go ahead and put the fish tank here and get a table, chair. Oh god, I just realized I wanted bulkheads. Bulkheads, super duper important. Super duper important. If you lose anything, like if well, you know, I do have a bulkhead there between the ladder and there, so this technically is its own area. It just means that the life support will be constantly flowing from here and into this area. And I'm trying to think of how to balance that. I mean, that's okay, I suppose. Just like if anything breaks here, it'll only empty this area. If anything breaks here, it'll only empty that area. Actually, that's okay. That's all right. All right. All right. Let's just do that. Let's just do that. I'm overthinking it. You have unlimited prep time before you have to launch. Let's get a plant just to make it look nice, and I need to get the fish tank. Nothing stopping you from spending all your credits early on. You kind of just decide where you want to spend your credits. I'm gonna leave this area back here sort of clear. Let's make a nice little design that way. And then we'll just do like, yeah, I ran out of credits there. So I got 10 credits left. We are just going to go ahead and launch. I don't know what the blueprint, what is this? Oh, yeah, apparently you can save and load up blueprints. So if I wanted to save this as like a starting thing, I could do that. We'll go back to here, hit these buttons until I find it. There we go. I can switch between the levels and it does not show the shadow. This shows shadow. I don't even know what that does. It's very weird.